There is little to call attention to the petite woman picking over the vegetable bins at Verrill Farm, but blending in is nothing new to this Concord grandmother. See, Catherine Ann Power lived life as a fugitive for 23 years, appearing on the FBI's most wanted list longer than any woman ever.
People are fascinated by the story of life on the run because American culture romanticizes fugitives and outlaws. But really, life on the run was pretty mundane.
Catherine Ann Power was running away from a bank robbery gone horribly wrong, one that left Boston police officer Walter Schroeder, a father of 9, dead of bullet wounds to the back. Catherine Power's new book, Surrender: My Journey from Guerrilla to Grandmother, begins with a straight-A Catholic schoolgirl from Colorado who accepts a full scholarship to Brandeis University. The year 1967, and protests against the Vietnam War were erupting everywhere.
I was really steeped, like many people in the student movement, in what I think of as the politics of rage. And it's blinding. I didn't have good judgment in that stew.
Power's growing radicalism led her to join a small band of violent revolutionaries. Their big idea? Rob a bank to fund anti-war efforts.
I didn't see how destructive the violence of running around with guns would be. I saw symbolic violence as what I thought I was going to do.
On September 23, 1970, Power waited in a getaway car as the rest of her group robbed the State Street Bank on Western Avenue in Brighton.
That really impossible to go back from moment was the moment when Officer Walter Schroeder was shot, and then he died the next day. And there's no way to take back that action. Death is final. Murder is final. And the hole that tore in a whole family and community is something that doesn't go away.
Power's partners were arrested, but somehow she managed to disappear, moving from town to town, frequently changing her name and appearance. After 7 years on the run, she finally settled in Oregon, had a child, found a loving relationship, and developed a successful restaurant career. By all appearances, Kathy Power, now Alice Metzinger, was in the clear. But along with the outward signs of success came a worsening depression.
And I was painting and I said, I'm living in the wrong life. That's when I identified that this was the issue that somehow had to be dealt with.
In 1993, accompanied by her husband and teenage son, Catherine Ann Power turned herself in to federal authorities in Boston.
I cannot possibly say in words how sorry I am for the death of Officer Schroeder.
The Schroeder family was unmoved by Power's apologies.
Millions of people in this country protested the Vietnam War, but only a handful committed acts of terrorism. Murdering a police officer in Boston to bring peace to Southeast Asia was utterly senseless then, and it is just as senseless now.
Power pled guilty to a charge of manslaughter and was sentenced to 8 to 12 years at MCI Framingham. After 4.5 years, Power looked forward to her first parole hearing.
The parole board hearing for Catherine Ann Power lasted an entire 3 hours.
If only, she says, for another opportunity to express her remorse to the Schroeder family. But when Claire Schroeder questioned whether Power's contrition was a calculated attempt to shorten her sentence, Power made a surprise decision.
And I said, I can tell that if my remorse is tied to a request to be released on parole at this time, that it can't be heard. And so I withdraw my request to be released on parole.
It was only the second time on record A request for parole has been withdrawn.
And that she felt that it was the right thing to do, and I applaud her in that decision.
Catherine Power declined a second parole hearing a year later, intent on serving out her term. She was released in 1999. Today, she lives the quiet life of a grandmother in Concord with her wife, Tricia. What began when Power turned herself in to authorities has led to a cascading series of personal, emotional surrenders and an evolving willingness to confront the hard truths about her actions and their consequences.
All I knew, and I think this is one of the deepest wisdoms that I encountered, all I knew was to show up at what came next, and be with it with like the deepest heart that I could.
Our attempts to reach the Schroeder family for comment on Power's book were unsuccessful.
In the meantime, Catherine Power's probation prohibited her from profiting from her crime, which meant she could not write about her experiences. And however, 10 years ago, that probation was lifted, so now she is able to write about it.
And it was a self-published book,
Yes.
we should mention as well. Up next, a provocative take on cancer.